Hey, good afternoon, you guys. It's your boy B Mahari here, represent Mahari Nation Sports Podcast. Much love to the entire LDBC and the basketball community. You know what I'm saying? Now, listen, this has been a big topic of discussion since the coronavirus pandemic kicked off in early January. Now, this has been a big topic of discussion the last few months. The question has been, should the NBA resume the season? There's been a lot of people that have been saying, yes, the season should be resumed. And there's been a lot of pushback saying that the season should not be resumed. Now, there's been major pushback against starting up the season. And it relates to uh, some information that CNBC provided earlier this morning. Um, basically, um, team executives and player agents from the NBA spoke to NBC in recent weeks about the challenges in resuming the season. They all said that team owners are concerned with liability issues and they are conflicted whether or not to give up on the current season. You know what I mean? And the big frustrating thing that I found it very apparent is that team executives are basically feeling the pressure because they feel frustrated with the lack of information that the league is not giving them and not even coming forward and saying we're going to resume the season by doing this and that or just canceling the season altogether and refocusing on next season. Okay. Now the big issue has been for the owners. If if the NBA decides to cancel the entire season, there's going to be a lot of billions of dollars that the NBA won't be able to rescue from this 2020 season because the NBA teams split roughly about $2 billion per season through the TV contracts, you know what I mean, and from local media and regional sport networks. Okay, now if the NBA decides to cancel the entire season, leaving leaving out the possibility of only postseason, only this hurts only the non-playoff teams who want to collect the remaining dollars from the TV deals. But non-playoff owners would also benefit if they don't incur any of the costs associated with resuming under the postseason formats. All right. Now, here's the big problem with this, though, guys. If the owners are not clear about whether they to just resume the season or just have a postseason only format, then just don't start the entire season altogether. Because what they're basically saying is that listen, we care about regaining our money that we're losing from instead of worrying about the players' safety and the well-being of their families and all the people that work in the NBA. Okay. Now, what other league sources are basically saying is that the revenue has temporarily dried up in the moment. They said what owners are saying is if we return, where's the revenue that's going to justify the additional cost of returning? Okay. They're looking at the cost side versus the revenue side. What revenue comes in now? Okay. And also, NBA clubs have basically limited partners who are basically talking about this. Here's what Andy Dodgers, of the former president of business operations for the Grizzlies, said: "These owners aren't just sitting there with ATMs, just printing out more than ever. Some of them are looking at the vast losses outside of just their basketball teams." Okay. Now here's the problem with this, though, guys. There's no point of continuing the season, though, if the only thing you're concerning about is how much money you're basically losing every time. Because listen, there's no point of continuing basketball altogether. All right. Now, despite all the signals about nearly the impossible rescue to the NBA season, now a league spokesperson basically talked with the NBC reporters about working on plans to resume the season. Here's what they said from their statement. It is the responsibility of the league office to explore all the options for a return to play this season. We owe that to our fans, teams, players, partners, and all who love the game. While our top priority it remains everyone's health and well-being, we continue to evaluate all options to finish the season. At the same time, we are intensively focusing on addressing potential impact of the COVID-19 on the 2021 season. All right. Now, look, that's all well and dandy, but as a fan, it means literally nothing. Listen, nobody cares about resuming a basketball season right now. Nobody cares about it because right now, there's more people dying out in the streets right now from COVID-19 or other related illnesses related to the COVID-19 pandemic. Okay. And literally, nobody would even dare. No, not many fans are really going to care about watching the entire NBA season. It wouldn't even matter to them Now, I will not say that not all. I'm not going to say all the fans won't watch it because you're still going to have some people that are still going to be watched and entertained by sports. That I will say. But I don't. But the thing is, if you're telling me that your base that the league is losing that amount of money, then you should have reworked on a plan to make sure that you could still maintain the money that you were still able to get from your original TV contracts through the collective bargaining agreement. It really makes no sense. All right. Now, here's on the side about calls to cancel. Here's what I also learned from the CNBC article. They said, with so much uncertainty still surrounding the coronavirus, agents are also probably calling on the commissioner to cancel the remainder of the season. Now, here's what one agent said on this quote here. Whoever it is, they said, I'm surprised because Silver always errs on the side of caution and doing what's right. Who also felt that Silver should cancel right now. Now, player representatives have also questioned about why the league continues to drag on to what appears to be the inevitable of the entire cancellation of the season. With so many concerns the league must address, including how to deal with trigger dates and coaches and player contracts and few on the upside. And the NBA should also get its house in order, challenges from the government await. Now, this is what Anthony Fauci, who's basically the health advisor for the White House during this whole corona pandemic, he said that he doubts that sports will be able to continue on for the remainder of the year. He said in quote, if you can't guarantee safety, then unfortunately you're going to have to bite the bullet and say we might have to go without this sport for this season, he said. And he's right. Listen, there's no calculated way that you can just reduce the entire risk of COVID-19 without having one person get infected from it. Because if one other person gets infected again, this is going to hurt the league even further. All right. I agree with Ferrucci's point on that. Okay. Just focus on canceling the entire season and get ready to really find a way to make sure that not the players don't get sick from this pandemic. Okay. But now, I've been also reading with some reporting about the solutions that the NBA has kind of, wanted to figure out how they're going to continue the season in a specific place. Now, Shaz Carnadian of The Athletic also posted on Twitter yesterday. He said, one possible playing ground for the NBA if they finish the season and it becomes safer for the league and players, they would have to play their games at Walt Disney World Resort property in Orlando, Florida. And also, league sources have also confirmed that the league has also had kept in mind different scenarios to figure out this way. Now, look, guys, man, this has become much more of a sideshow. It really has. Why is it that the league right now is worrying about salvaging an entire season? Listen, at this point right now, you're just gonna have to suck it up, bite your financial losses, and focus on next year. Because there's literally no way that you could justify resuming a season without putting more of your players at risk. All right. You already seen the amount of players that have already been affected by the COVID-19, starting with Rudy Gobert. Okay. And then ended up with Donovan Mitchell. And then the list goes on and on. But I cannot for the life of me justify how you can try to salvage an entire season. Now, there have been some people that have been for resuming the season. People like LeBron James, which he also posted an hour ago on his Twitter account. He said, and quote, saw some reporters about executive and agents wanting to cancel the season. That's absolutely not true. Nobody I know is saying anything like that. As soon as it's safe, we would like to finish our season. I'm ready. Our team is ready. Nobody should be canceling anything. Now, I kind of understand the kind of feeling and sentiment from LeBron James, because his mentality is like, listen, if we can play basketball while reducing the risk of getting the virus in the pandemic, let's go ahead and play. But here's what LeBron James is missing all this. He may think that there have been some executives that he knows that has been not saying not to cancel the season, but listen, not all executives think how you think, LeBron James. And unfortunately, there's a bit of ignorance shown by LeBron James on that perspective. Because at the end of the day, listen, there's more. This is more about losing money or just losing an opportunity to win a championship. Nobody's going to take that seriously anyway, even if you resume the season, because it's almost going to be equivalent of how the Spurs won the title in '99 off of a lockout shortened season. Nobody took them seriously. I'm sorry to say, and this would be double as worse if you decide to resume basically only postseason in tournament in a specific area to decide an NBA champion. It literally makes no sense to do that. I don't get it. It would not make any sense to me. All right. And plus, the big thing you also consider is how you're going to get testing done for all the players that are going to participate in this kind of tournament. How are you going to regulate and make sure that the players that are basically not showing any symptoms or any ill effects of the COVID-19 virus? All right. So I don't understand it. I don't get it. And at this point, I'm signing with the executives. It's only a matter of time before the league finally just says, you know what? We tried every single idea, scenario. We exhaust all of our sources. You know what? We're just going to have to suck up and take the financial bullet and just shut down the entire season. Just do that. All right. If you would have came forward and said, listen, we're going to shut down the entire season. We're just going to bite the bullet. We're going to make sure to prepare for 2021. Then you know what? I have no problem with that because then that shows that you care more about the player's safety and more about just your monies and dollars. But you guys got to remember, these team owners, they don't care. The only thing they care about is making sure that they get their money from their TV revenues and also from the TV contracts, from their sponsors and everything else in between. So at the end of the day, man, I believe in this report. You guys go find it on CNBC. You know what I mean? Just type it up on Google and you'll be able to see it for yourself. But at the end of the day, there's no particular reason I don't understand why they just are so hell bent of resuming the season. It really does not make any sense, and it's only going to be a matter of time before there's too much pushback to cancel the entire season, and the commissioner is going to be pressured into doing so. I believe where I think we're heading to, guys. Just we're heading to the realization that Adam Silver is going to have to just suck it up and say, you know what? We tried every single scenario that could possibly work. You know what? We're just going to have to suck it up and cancel the entire season. That's where I believe we're heading to. But let me know what you guys think, though, guys. Peace.